Good morning, y'all. It's Miss Keish from Journey of the Word Ministries, home of every name known to God, where we nurture relationship rather than religion, and all are welcome. Today, we're going to talk about Matthew 7 and 12 and hit on where Luke spoke of it as well. We're talking about doing unto others as you would have done unto yourself. The reason that we're talking about that is because I'm making an attempt to connect the values of godly living that non-believers or doubters or atheists or uh, other religions tie into their principle base. um, that the reason I chose that scripture is because it's one of the most well-known sayings in the world, so popular that we really do not apply to our day-to-day lives. Um, you don't lose anything by believing in God. There's no risk you're taking. Like I said before, that being a believer in God is the one thing that has no negative consequences for you. Um, Believing in God is not going to hurt you. Applying His principles is not going to hurt you. If you die at the end of the world and there's no heaven or hell for you to go to, it doesn't matter. But on the other hand, if you don't believe in God and you don't apply His principles and you don't get a relationship with Him, you have to do more than apply His principles. You know how they say faith and works go hand in hand, and faith without works is dead, and works without faith is dead. So those non-believers applying our principles, excuse me, are not going to get them into heaven's doors or get that relationship with Him. It'll give them a base setting. So I just wanted hopes to share this scripture, Matthew 7 and 12, where he tells us that you should not do to anyone what you do not want to yourself. I think it's a twofold uh, warning. One, if you dish it out, it's going to come back at you. And two, you should have enough sense to know that if you don't want to be treated a certain type of way, that another person doesn't want to be treated that way. So be careful of what you do on to others, because it will fall back on you. That is a worldwide principle. Confucius used it. Um, Plato spoke on it. Oh my God, I can't think of the word. It's used in a lot of philosophies and a lot of religions as a rule of thumb. So what I'm trying to say is that just like that one principle of treating others how you wish to be treated, you live as an example, and those who are believers of God should live as an example. So what someone sees you do, what someone hears you do, what someone witnesses from you is a reflection of what your relationship with God is, and what you want to be done in your life, what you want to produce is what you should produce. How you want to be spoke to is how you should speak to someone. How you want to be addressed is how you should address someone. How you want to be emotionally regarded is how you should do the same for others. In your professional setting, how you want to be respected, you should give that same respect. Now people are saying, "Oh, you got to earn my respect." When I meet you, I should give you respect. When you meet me, you should give me respect. In our interactions with one another, we should respect one another, because you treat people how you want to be treated. If we're going to become a society waiting for someone else to do it, no one is going to do it, because our excuse will always be, well, you do it first. Um, and we also have a lot of people who are like, well, I don't know why I get treated this way, or I don't know why such and such has such an attitude with me, because you treat them like garbage when you're talking to them. You talk down to them. You can be condescending, inconsiderate of their time, inconsiderate of their feelings, inconsiderate of what your actions can do to another. We're really, really, really bad with that. When we're trying to decide what we're going to do about any subject, we think first about how it's going to affect us and whether it's going to benefit us or not. We don't take a second thought to see how it will affect those around us, or if there are any negative consequences rolling off for someone that we don't necessarily know but we know of, because we're all for self. As believers, we're taught that this principle base should be put everywhere in every aspect of your life. As non-believers who want to produce good things, so my shirt is backwards, but it says good karma here. um, as a non-believer or an atheist or someone who is not sure, or even other religions, you know that if you go through life and you're portraying a certain image, or you seem to be a difficult person, people are not going to want to comply to you. People are not going to want to treat you kindly because you're not doing it. And if this principle is used worldwide, and it's from a religious based setting, and I don't like the word religion, but a spiritual base, I'm going to say spiritual based setting, a direction that we're given as followers or disciples to do, and you're choosing to adapt it in your lifestyle to get more value, where can you go wrong? And looking into our other principles that we have, you can't. Um, if you stay a non-believer and the end of the world comes and there's a heaven or a hell, or you're set in judgment, and your lack of relationship and your lack of knowledge of God and your lack of will to do His bidding is gonna you're gonna be punished. I mean, we don't like to talk about that part. Yes, God is a forgiving God, but He also says that He won't be mocked. Whatever a man soweth, he shall reap. Once you know better, you have to do better. You cannot ignore the fact of God's existence because you say, oh, I don't believe in that. It's not how I want to live my life. You have a duty as an adult to look into things, to find out what's true and what's not true, and to see what works well with your life. Like I said, I don't have a problem with any specific religion at all, as long as you are praising and worshiping God, and having a relationship with Him on your own level. That's good. God says He's a God of many names, of many faces. If you studied any religion that was a God based, I'm gonna say a God based, because these gods we have different I'm stuttering terminologies or names for Him, or even images. But if you study their principle base, if you study their morals, if you study their rules, if you even read their stories, they are the same stories with different names, you guys. Why? Because He's adhering to different cultures that He created. God is I am. He's the all. He's everything from beginning to end. I am the I am. He can do whatever He wants. He tells you He has many names and many faces. If He created many cultures, which He did because He's the great creator, then He has a way to appease to all of us in a different manner that our culture will accept. It's that simple, guys. So quit walking around saying, oh, you're going to go to hell if you don't believe this. Well, you're not going to make it into heaven if you're not that. How do you know? You don't know. Religion isn't even anything to do with God. Religion is a man-based institution. The church is supposed to be a support system. And I'm using the word church very loosely, because everyone doesn't call their home of God where they gather together church. But still, you know what I mean. It's supposed to be a support system. It's supposed to be somewhere we can all come together and worship God. It's supposed to be somewhere we can all come together and lean on one another. It's supposed to be somewhere we can come together as a community to show the rest of the world how we should behave. When there are no church buildings to go to and no Bibles to pick up, y'all gonna be all right. And y'all gonna regret that you didn't take any time to put anything in here and in here to help you through those times when we're struggling by ourselves. What would you do if God truly stopped interfering with your life? You don't know when He's made a move for you. You don't know when He stopped something from happening that you thought would be good, that would be detrimental to you down the line. You don't know when He saved you from an accident down the street. You don't know when He decided to change someone's mind who was going to harm you. You don't know any of that. But if He stopped, I bet you if He stopped interfering with our lives, we would know then, and we'll be boo-hoo-hoo crying. So those of you who choose not to believe or choose not to explore the possibility of God, I want you to know that I'm not telling you to go be a Catholic, Buddhist, Jewish, any of Seventh-day Adventist. I'm not telling you to go be anything. I'm telling you to try and learn the truth about God. I'm telling you to try and start talking to Him. I'm telling you, don't just rob His principles to make your life better, to get a better quality of life. I'm telling you to seek Him. Try and find out. If you doubt, try and find some basis for your doubts. You're not. The reason scientists stopped trying to prove God doesn't exist because all they did was prove that He did. And they have no basis for their standing that they're talking on. He has been scientifically proven, guys, for you people who only believe in science. And it's funny, we get hung up on word analogies. Like, so a lot of us will get, well, there's no J in the alphabet. There's no such thing as Jesus. Jesus wasn't a white man. Jesus wasn't this. None of that matters. None of it. It's tomato. We run our whole society subject to the word Jesus was, how do you say, transcribed or interpreted. It's a title. It doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean His name. That's just a title. That's all it is. What He is the Son of God, manifested in man's body, brought here to teach us, to show us a real live example of living as God has access to. He is a flesh and blood man. He is God. He is the Holy Spirit. He were all those things embodied into one, walking on this earth, enduring the same things that we endured. And He set a better example than any of us. And He allowed himself to die for us voluntarily. Um, I haven't really discussed this subject because I have a different view of it, so I'm going to steer away from it. All I am going to say is that the Lord begged for our forgiveness on the cross. He said, Father, forsake them, for they know not what they do. He begged for our forgiveness. He asked for God to give us a pass. So I'm going to ask you to give your doubt a backseat and give Jesus a pass. Give God a pass. Uh, look into it. Start looking into more than, okay, treat others. I'm getting all off of scripture. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You treat others how you want to be treated. Basically, the golden rule is what we call it in society. But it's actually Matthew 7:12, and it's discussed in Luke. Um, and as I said earlier, it's discussed in many philosophies. Confucius really pushed that. You don't have, you're not supposed to have evil thoughts. You're not supposed to apply evil thoughts to people. You're not supposed to be plotting and planning on how you're going to get over on someone to one up them. You're not even supposed to be. Have you ever had this boss at work that nobody wanted to work for, or nobody wanted to put in any extra time with, or spend any time doing that extra foot for? But then there was this one supervisor that, oh, will you stay late? Yeah, I'll stay late for you. What you need, let me do it for you. Why? Because they treated you like a human being. They respected you. They were courteous. They were kind, and they were considerate. When people treat you that way, you tend to treat them the same way in return. You want to be pleasing unto them. Now, what I'm going to ask is a little bit of a twist for us to start treating God how we want him to treat us. He treats us off grace and mercy with kindness, love, and affection, and gives us forgiveness. I'm going to ask that you start giving him the love and affection that he gives us, even if you don't acknowledge it, even if you're not sure what it is. I want you to start giving him that respect. If you know that he will be against a move that you're about to make, don't do it. If you know that he will be upset about something that just came out of your mouth, apologize for it. Go apologize to the person, because we're supposed to love thy neighbor. Apologize to God. Tell him you're working on it. Really be working on it. Don't just say you're sorry, because despite what people teach you, you are not going to go to heaven on your deathbed because you said, oh my God, please forgive me, because you see he exists right now, because you're finna get judgment. It's not going to work that way. Grace will run out. I'm sorry. You will pay for what you do wrong. You cannot wait to the last minute to make compensation for what you do wrong or ask God forgiveness. That's the movies. It's not real life. And God is a just and fair God, and that is just and fair. We want to be able to do what we want to do, but not suffer the consequences. And he's told us from the very beginning that that's not true. If you're a non-believer, he showed you in actions that that is not true. Whatever you do, you have to pay the consequences for. It's called cause and effect, guys. Cause and effect, karma, reaping what you sow, whatever you want to call it, whether you believe in God or whether you don't. Your actions are what causes what goes around you. Just think, if you're in a bad situation, a horrible argument, or just something going on in your life. I try to be very vague so that it touch more than one thing. Your reaction to that situation that you could not control is going to control the temperature in the room. You can start off in a small fight or small argument and just get that what, and all, you know what's going to break loose. But instead of reacting that way, take a minute, go inside your head, talk to God, say what you need to say, help him, let him help you outline your thoughts. If you're so angry you can't say nothing, tell that person, you know what, I can't even talk to you right now. I can't even do this right now, because I don't want to say something that I'm going to regret. And right now I'm full of anger, and I need to get control of that. I need to get my thoughts straightened. I don't appreciate how you spoke to me. I don't appreciate what you said. And before we both sit here and make this worse, I'm going to step away for a minute. And you don't have to sit there and take someone's abuse. You don't have to sit there. Someone's been yelling at you for 20 minutes and you're trying to be the bigger guy. The bigger guy doesn't mean that you have to sit there and take it. Excuse me, but hey, I'll talk to you later. When you got some respect about yourself, you know how to speak to me, call me. Have a nice day. Be blessed. And who cares if they think it's sarcastic or don't like it? Look, it's better than me going off on you. And then go to God and ask him to work on your heart so that you don't immediately go to those angry phases. Because I know I turn a 10-minute argument, if it touched the right bone, bruh, it done went from 0 to 100 real quick. And my mouth and my attitude, and just to be completely transparent, my mouth and my attitude comes from bad habits from when I was brought up, and not what most people. I have no outlet because I can't do what I was taught. I was taught to fight, physically fight. Um, I'd never argued. I've never had an argument where I went round and round with a female like they used to do when we was little, bumping shoulders and all that. I wasn't gonna do that, and I was taught not to do that. I was taught not to let nobody get me first. I was taught to give me my 3 feet of space, stay away from me, don't let no one threaten me. And my first knee jerk reaction, honestly, is to physically fight someone. And now that I'm in a position where that's not the answer, it's difficult for me. And I've married someone who has a woo child. His mouth, boy, it could cut you. And so I learned new habits. You learn new habits from those of you who are around, and that's my knee jerk reaction, because I can't do what I want to do, because you cannot do that to your you can't do that to your spouse. You can't do that to a loved one. You can't do that in a place of business. So I really have to work on my anger and my mouth. But truth be told, I have to work on my desire to deck somebody. Um, I feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like arguing is a waste of time. I have a lot of stuff in my heart that I need to work on, but you have to go to God yourself when you're getting in those situations and realize that you caused that. If you would have reacted differently, the situation would not have went so far left. A lot of times we allow people to hurt us because of our reactions. We allow people to continue to harm us because we, instead of treating them how we would want to be treated and disengaging from the issue until we're all calm, we go all in. And it's World War III. Don't do that. Um, Keep in mind that your actions and your reactions control the temperature in the room, no matter where you're at. It's going to make the sun go up and the rain fall. Uh, think about the fact that God treats you with a loving kindness no matter what you do. So don't wait for the person to do it for you. And that's how you operate. God doesn't wait for us to do it first. He shows us that love, that affection, that grace, that mercy from beginning to the end. He's trying to teach us something. He does allow us discipline so that we can learn, but he does not mistreat us. No matter what we do, he doesn't mistreat us. So we have to learn that we cannot mistreat others no matter what they do, and that how we want to be treated is what we have to do to others. How we want to be feeling in an environment, not just treated, how you want to be made felt. All of those things you need to do to others. And I want you to start thinking about that with your interactions with God also, excuse me. Just think about how he feels by the things you're doing, how he feels by the things you're saying, the choices you're making, and start considering him first. Not don't say, I've heard so many people say, what did God do for me? And I honestly get like, for real? Like, did you just say that? But people truly mean that. Don't look for God to have done something for you that you can see in material form, because he's done so much for you can't see. That what he has done for you that you just don't appreciate is like a mustard seed. That's how much he's done for you that you don't know. It makes the things that he's done for you that you do know as small as a mustard seed. So don't look for what he's done for you. Just treat him with respect. Treat him with love. Treat him with honor, like you would someone that you valued on this earth. Do that with God. Do that with others, and see if things don't turn out much better for you. I thank you guys for joining me at Journey of the Word Ministries. I hope this wasn't too long and I didn't keep going in circles, because I got way off what I was supposed to be talking about. But I hope you all have a blessed week and a good upcoming holiday. And for all of those pagan holidays, it might be, not might be, I'm sure it is, but what you make it is what it is. God is a God of recreation. I've never celebrated, and no disrespect to those who do, your free will. I don't know nothing about Columbus, and I ain't celebrating none of that. I never have. I celebrated loving my family. I'm thankful that the Lord has blessed me, and I'm thankful that my family has been blessed and that I'm here. And that's what I celebrate. I celebrate the gift that God has given me to be able to spend this time with him. And that's all it's about with me. I don't believe in a traditional Christmas. I don't believe in a traditional Thanksgiving. I don't believe in any of those holidays the way that others do, because I make them my own. And everything in my life, I gear some type of way towards God. Everything. You make it your own. You do what you want to do. And I think it's nothing wrong to me if you do celebrate them in those traditional forms. Nothing at all. Because you're free to be you and you do what makes you comfortable. Your relationship is yours. Your life is yours. The only person can judge you is God. And truthfully, there's no need for judgment for half of these things that we talk about. I just want those of you who sit in judgment for people who do celebrate to know that, hey, you do your thing, they do theirs. It's not your business. Unless you see them doing something negative or harmful to others or to God, it's really not much for you to say. But keep it moving. If you don't want to enjoy certain things, don't. That's your choice. Treat others with the same respect you want. Have a blessed day again, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for choosing Journey of the Word Ministries. Have a great day.